So first of all, thank you very much for giving up your time. On behalf of Dave and I would like to welcome you all here tonight to the 2017 Referee Management Executive and Portfolio Holders Gathering for 2017. It's going to be a fairly informal affair. I've got a few slides to show you, and I've got a little gift pack, for want of a better word, to give out to you. And then we'll finish off the evening by enjoying each other's companies and finishing off with beers and the snacks. So I'll first of all, so Dave and I are just going to bounce backwards and forwards. So I'll just run through the agenda. So Dave's going to welcome you. I just want to walk you through our strategic plan. And Dave's going to talk about the structure and how the reporting process is going to work for us. I'll go through the nitty-gritties of the reporting. Dave's going to talk about transparency. And then we'll have any final questions before we finish off. So, Dave.
Right. So, again, welcome and thank you for taking the time to come tonight. Some of you have travelled quite a way. Dale and Jeff, thank you. Appreciate that. We felt that it was important to just have a quick gathering to make sure that we're all on the same page and pushing in the same direction. So, I really appreciate you giving up your time to come out tonight. So, that's my welcome. I'll hand over to Pat to go over the strategic plan. Just while he's finishing those off, just to let you know that I think it was about September last year, we had a session with Rod Hill. It was felt that we needed a strategic plan, we needed to have a goal, something to focus at for the next 5 years. My understanding is that we're one of only 2 referee groups in the country that has a strategic plan. So in September we met, we called some people on there. Thomas, you were there. We had a cross-section of people that were there and had input. Rod then went away and compiled a draft, if you like, which was sent to us, which we then tidied up. That has now been completely tidied up. It has been presented to the board, the Bapene Rugby Union board, and it's been presented to the union. They haven't exactly, shall we say, approved it. They came back with a whole lot of questions and things that they felt that should be in it. Pat and I disagree. Strategic plan is the big picture. It's where you look to be, a goal. What they were looking at was more operational. And we sit down and we do that every year anyway as a group. And we actually have our operational plan and calendar all in place for 2017. So I'll hand over to Pat.
So inside all of your packs, you've got one of these, which is our 19-page strategic plan document crammed down into one very simple one-pager. I don't want to spend time talking to you about a document you've got in your hands. You're all intelligent enough to understand that you can go off and read it in your own leisure. The purpose of giving this to you, though, is one of the things that's come about as a result of the strategic planning process is that unless you've literally got it on you all the time when you're making refereeing type decisions, we have a tendency to do things that can potentially take us further away from our goals rather than closer. So probably the main thing that I want you guys to take away from tonight's session is that whenever we're doing our refereeing executive type decision making process, the fundamental question you have to ask yourself is, does it fit within our core strategic plan? And across the bottom you can actually see what our big focus ticket items are. And probably the biggest one that we really want to nail on the head for the next 2 years minimum is the club. Now the club's not a bricks and mortars building, which was quite frustrating because other organisations thought that that's what we were trying to build. The club, as you've probably guessed by now, is our culture, the way we behave, the way we act with each other, the way we act when we're out and about amongst the other stakeholders. And you can see there that the club is to build a learning, engaged and united culture aligned to our mission. Sell the benefits of our club to the Bay of Plenty community. Now already I believe we are reaping the benefits of our culture and our club. And for some of you who may or may not be aware, we are starting to attract people from other associations who want to come and join us, which I think is a big tick towards building our culture. other referees from other associations want to come here. Why? Because the culture in which we're starting to drive. And as the leaders of our association and our membership, it starts by being driven by us. So all I'm asking is that when we start doing stuff whilst we're going through our normal day-to-day business of making decisions for our executive, if we can just be mindful that it fits in with what we're trying to achieve overall. And then halfway through the year we can have a sit down, talk about how our plan is going. Obviously, if things aren't working, or if things are working, we can address them, and then at the end of the year we'll have a full and frank, honest, robust review, like we would expect our referees to do if they were reviewing their performances on the field. And I've even got a scorecard that we can start thinking about how we can score ourselves to see whether or not we think what we are doing day to day is in fact moving us closer or taking us further away. Any questions on the strategic plan?
I'd just like to compliment the group that put it together because I think it's fantastic. Framework foundation for us to move forward. And if the operational plan reflects that as it should, then I think the document serves very well.
I love sharing this with my other provincial counterparts because we meet quite regularly, and to hear some of the nightmarish stories that other referee associations are going through and the struggles that they're having. And I think, and probably it only sort of came to me this afternoon, is when I stand up here and I look around this room, the calibre and the quality of the people that are sitting in this room. I made the comment today to Gibby, other volunteer committees within the rugby community struggle to get uniformity because there are large numbers of people in their executive meetings, whereas we only have 6. And the other thing that they struggle to do is because there are large numbers of people, and I'll use the secondary schools committee for an example. So 22 people representing the 22 schools sitting in a room with all of their vested interests focused on themselves. So they really struggle to get a uniformed decision. And the reason why I'm saying that here is because if you look around this room, nobody in this room is sitting in this room because they want to be here for them. Everybody in this room is here because they want to make our refereeing group a better group. And I think that's the key. That's the reason why we're making such huge gains, is nobody's in it for them, they're in it for everybody else. At the end of the day, you might end up getting some bonuses as a result. You might get sent on interchanges. You might get appointments that you might not otherwise have got. But the reality is nobody's in here because they want to be a professional referee. And I think that's probably one of the best things that I can say about this executive group we've got here. Everybody's here because we want to make other people better. And that's what I like about being involved with this group.
Okay, so one of the things that came out of the strategic planning session, and Thomas, I think who else was there at that? So correct me if I get off track or go wrong. One of the things that came out of that, the key issue, if you don't change anything, you don't get any different outcomes. If you want different outcomes and different results, then you've got to change something. And so that became very, very clear that we really needed to change our structure. The old structure of having one representative from each of the 3 sub-unions no longer fitted today. What we had to do is go away from a geographical driven committee to a skill set committee that's got the right skills to drive this thing forward. So that's why we came up with this structure. So firstly, we've got the appointments panel. So we've still got, you'll see there, we've still got the 3 areas represented there, and then you've got the rugby union representative, and we've got the board representative. So that's Pat Ray and John Dowling. For those that don't know, the Central Bay is Jeff Kay. Eastern Bay, Dale's taken over that from Ollie. And just in this environment, I'd like to publicly thank Ollie for all of his work that he's done and the support that he's provided over the last 12 months to get us to where we are. So that appointments panel meets and then appoints the board. well, we're not allowed to call ourselves the board. The board got very upset about that. So what do we do? The referee, management executive. That's what we're allowed to call ourselves. So we've got governance, we've got the game, we've got coaching and development, resource support, and then we've still got the Bay Plenty Union representative being Pat and the board representative being John Dowling. So we met on the 6th of February, 2nd of February, 6th of February must have been. Yeah, and the appointments panel met and we have done this job. So we got the names. Is that right?
So
just on that, that when the executive group is meeting does not preclude one of the area representatives if they want to come along. So the agenda will still be circulated to them, and if they want to come along and have input from their area, they're most welcome to.
So, you know, for example, Dale is the only area representative who doesn't have a position on our management executive. And that's not done on purpose, that's just done because the skill set that we required was filled by people that we were already using. We need Dale to attend these meetings. Obviously, Jeff's already going to be there because he's got one of the portfolios, which I'll show you in a moment. But they're also a direct communication line back to your areas. So that's what we need. So I'm just going to go through the list now. So governance is obviously headed by Sam Fellows, and he has finance, portfolio, judiciary, statistics and historian, and workplace health and safety that report to him. So Stephen Wheeler, who's been on board since about December-ish. Yeah. So the great thing about having Stephen on board, and it was highlighted just yesterday, in that he picked up some discrepancies between the budget that I proposed, got approval from our management executive, and then put forward to the union's board for approval. And then there were the differences in the figures that were being passed back to us in our financials. So we were able to overcome it. So already we're reaping the benefits of having people with expertise in looking at spreadsheets filled with numbers, sitting in the right boxes. And obviously, Jeff Kay's expertise as a prosecutor makes a perfect fit for judiciary. Malcolm's been around a while, a perfect fit for historian. and obviously having our lawyer in the room makes a perfect fit for workplace health and safety, which again was highlighted only yesterday when one of our members emailed me in relation to a particular workplace health and safety issue that he came across at a recent TENS tournament. Within about half an hour, we had the problem was identified, the risk was identified, a solution to minimise the risk had been identified, and by the next referee management executive, that should be ready for approval. So things happen really well when the people in the right seats are doing what they need to be doing. Game management is being run by Jeff Kay, and under him we've got the senior schools and junior appointments of Ian Crowe, Shane Ford and Malcolm Langdon. Just for your information, just like last year, those three positions are honorarium, so they will be recompensed at the end of the season through a funding application that we lodge in about a week's time. Now, I'm doing the rep appointments. I'm also taking over from Dave Edwards, who's resigned from his position as interchange, and Dave Hodgson's going to pick up the education portfolio. Dave's also going to run resources, so he's going to control a gear steward, which is Grant Wilson, who does a fabulous job managing our gear in and out. Obviously, because of my employment, recruitment and retention is one of my KPIs. We created a new portfolio called Communication/Media. Dave and I were having a coffee one day, and he coined our new newsletter, which is The Whistleblower, which I thought was a fantastic title. We've now got a whole stack of things that we're going to publish into that newsletter. We just needed somebody to be like the editor-in-chief to pull all the information in. And Thomas Bowater was approached, and he's gratefully accepted, so welcome aboard to the executive, Thomas. Rolly put his hand up late last year to be our social convener. Unfortunately, he's been struck with some ill health lately, which I only found out yesterday. So Dave and I are going to sort of pick up Rolly's portfolios until he's back on his feet. Match official coaching and support is run by Craig Riley. Craig arrived to us last year with the wealth and breadth of knowledge. You only have to stand beside him at a Premier game to understand how much expertise and experience the man possesses in his head. It just blew me away the very first time we stood together, just the things that he could see that, you know, and I've been around for a little while and I thought that I knew everything. But then you go and stand beside somebody and suddenly you feel very insignificant. Last year we restructured our appointments, coaching and grading structure, and, you know, thanks to Sam, John Donnelly and Craig for doing the exceptional work on that. As a result, we now have 5 separate panel managers. So Tony Dunlop is going to manage the Premier grade. Kelly Greer's got that very important B grade. I'm looking after myself, thank goodness, so I can give myself all those decent games. Steve Wheeler's picked up the junior panel, and Sam Fellows is going to manage our first years. Strength and conditioning coach is Cameron Hodson. For those of you who attend his sessions will clearly understand how worthwhile they are. And we just need to come up with some strategies to get your knowledge to the other sub-unions as well. And I don't know if Grant knew this until last night, but I threw this in. Makes perfect sense. Grant's the one that comes up with the law questions for all of our meetings. So we're now going to have a law programmer who's going to do that on a regional basis. So all of the law questions that he provides to us for our meetings will be distributed to the 3 sub-unions. And I'll also be working with you closely when I provide and put together the online law exam.
Just to add to the panel aspects, I've been talking with John Donnelly and Ian about, and one of the things that's come back from New Zealand is about talent education. So John and I and Ian are going to be pretty much responsible for that group, although that part of the refereeing panel. And one of the things for us, John, to look at is the setup of some sort of academy in Glen Commerce. We know that there's one at Chris Pollock down in Hawke's Bay, which seems to fit. We're looking around for others, but that will, and he's only got 3 in this, so no, we need to judge each year as it comes. So we're relying on Steve, saying that yourself, for example, identify guys that we can bring, take them through the game management, the fitness and diet and the law stuff. So that hasn't been sort of announced yet.
Dave, you want to talk about transparency?
Yep. Just while I'm doing the transparency, some of the things that we thought of putting into the whistleblower, and this is not a list that's set in concrete. We'll develop this as we go along. But some of the things we thought of putting in there was the birthdays of our referees. Celebrating successes. So if a particular referee has had a success, I mean, we've got all of you people out there around the track, we've got the coaches. If somebody in particular has had a great success, we want that communicated to Thomas, and Thomas will put that in the newsletter for the month. I think Pat, he knows a lot of what's going on that none of us have got any idea. We've got no idea where Nick might be refereeing, or Jacko, or Gappy. And those kind of things we want to celebrate in there too. So Pat would know probably a month in advance what their program is. We'd like to see that going in there, as though if one of us wants to actually watch a Nick Bryant or a Jacko on TV, we know the games that they're refereeing and we can make a point of watching it. Notable achievements, sub-area news. So we want all the sub-area representatives to do just a quick précis on what's happened in the area. It only needs to be bullet points, it doesn't have to be an epistle, just bullet points, maybe some achievements or what's been going on in your area. You know, for example, might be we had eight turn up to our training session on whatever night you have your training nights down there. Just things like that, you know, achievements that we can all celebrate. laws, a law of the month, so Pat will actually provide that. So there'll be a law of the month with, it'll be Grant Wilson. So there'll be a particular law that we're focusing on for the month. Now the law questions that we have at our meetings will be around that, but it'll also go into the whistleblower.
I think the one thing I had no knowledge of last year was interchanges.
Yeah.
And have who's going,
Yep.
all that stuff in there.
That'll go in there. It's a communication tool, and I think that will help us to build the club because we all feel a part of what's going on. We know what's going on within our group.
Yeah, David, I think one of the things that has come through this year already, and I think it's marvellous, and I want to put it in there, is the criteria for selection up the line. So if a person's got an aspiration from the youngest referee, so when I got here, I didn't know that, and perhaps I didn't inquire as much as I should have, but I now know clearly because it's been laid out. And I think if we can let that know, because we might find there's a year one ref at Wakatani who wants to go for gold, and he's going to know it straight away.
Yeah.
So that's a really good thing.
Unfortunately, he went to Dunedin.
There's a full document now on that whole process that we have. As Pat alluded to, Craig, JD, everyone's been sent it, but it's now a document. It's transparent. It's out in the open.
So I think it's a good idea.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Each time, different.
Yeah. You might take a different part of it and say, well, if you're a first year referee, here's the path. Here's what you've got to do. Trends, so that will probably come from Pat or from the coaches. Any trends that we're seeing that maybe we need to change that are not good.
I think another good one was like Sam was at the Super Rugby Referees Conference.
Yes.
On the feedback from there would be fantastic.
Yep.
Just keep us ahead of what's happening in New Zealand referee.
So just to pick up on that, so Pat would know that was happening. Pat would then communicate that with Thomas. Thomas would then get in touch with Sam or with Jamie Bell, whoever, and we just keep that stuff out there.
It's going to be busy.
Yeah, I think it will. I think it will be a busy thing. Yeah, as I say, it doesn't have to be an epistle. They just have to be one-liners, Grant.
Is this a monthly,
It'll be a monthly,
and is it just an email?
electronic.
Yeah, there's a template being formed.
There's a number of different platforms I've had a look at. We just have to decide which one best suits us. I mean, it literally could just be a Word document turned into a PDF, an email, or there's some online platforms where the articles can click to videos and stuff.
Yep.
We just have to work out which one we want to use.
Yep.
You got Facebook as well?
Do you have a Facebook page?
Yeah, we do have a Facebook page.
I'm sure we'll...
But we do. We want to send this out electronically because we don't know who goes on Facebook. But if you actually send it out to somebody's email and get them used to reading it, then they're going to feel part of what's going on. And we're going to use Amanda to help us to set up that template. I mean, she's the one with the expertise and the skill set there. Let's use it.
Another one you could put in is welcome to an outside referee coming in.
Yep.
A little.
Yep. One thing we had here was new referees, just doing a very brief profile on that new person coming in. So, I mean, let's be honest, us in the Western Bay wouldn't have a clue who's joining in Central Bay or Eastern Bay. So, if Dale, if you've got somebody who's joined down there, get in touch with Thomas, and we'll get the information and we'll put it out in the newsletter. Everyone then knows, hello, we've got another new one in Eastern. Some photos, so to make it a bit interesting instead of all being words, and then items of interest or humour. So one of us might have made a bit of a cock up that we can have a bit of fun too. So we don't want it all to be serious. So they were just some thoughts around a monthly newsletter. Transparency. Right from when the new RAG, as it was known, in 2016 started, that was one of our key drivers, that we wanted transparency. With transparency, it means that we've all got to be honest, we've got to be believable, we've got to be truthful. So it brings some accountability, if you like, and we want that to continue going forward. We don't want any hidden agendas, we don't want any little secret squirrel clubs running off and doing their own thing and then no one else knows about it. We want it all out in the open. That will drive and build the club by being honest, being transparent. So I think that's really important. That'll be a key driver for the executive committee going forward, and we'll continue to be transparent. That's one of the reasons that the minutes of the meetings, they all go up on the website. There's nothing hidden. If anyone's got any concerns with what we're doing, they can read the minutes, get in touch with one of us. you know, the other driver for us is, and we keep reminding ourselves, is we're here to serve the referee body. We're not up here above everybody. We're there to serve and make sure that everybody is equipped in all aspects to go out there and enjoy their refereeing and do a good job with their refereeing.
And that's pretty much the formalities of this evening. Any questions? Does everybody have a fairly clear idea of where we fit in the jigsaw?
Oh, just on that reporting, if I just cover that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so with the reporting, what we want is each portfolio holder to, by the 20th of each month, to provide a very brief report to whichever person on the committee they sit under. Does that make sense?
By when?
Sorry?
By when?
By the 20th. Because we meet on the first Thursday of the month, so that gives time for all those reports to come to me. I coordinate the agenda. We run the meetings by exception. We don't talk about everything that's there. So if something needs to be discussed, it's something that requires a decision at that meeting. All right. So a lot of the information is disseminated prior to the meeting. So we don't discuss all of that stuff. If we've got any concerns with what's on the agenda, that we might discuss that or clarify an issue. So if we can have those reports by the 20th, then I can get those out to the executive committee members, and then we have our meeting, and those reports will be tabled and be part of the minutes.
And the good thing about that setup and that system is our meetings are only an hour long. So those guys who put their hands up to be on the executive, you know that less than one meeting last year went over an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of them are done and dusted by now, so then we meet rule by exception rather than by rule.
Yep.
So as an example, what would we like to know from the appointments managers? Well, obviously, how many games did you appoint to in the month? How many games were unappointed? And how many referees were appointed to a game and didn't turn up? That's probably the three pieces of information we would need from the appointments officers.
Yeah. And then just general stuff, because that could be a template form that just needs to be completed on the monthly.
Yeah.
And then there might be just general comments that need to be done.
If you can set up template, I mean, that's one thing that Pat and I have done in the whole of 2016 was everything we've set up templates. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel all the time. All we're doing is taking the template and updating the information.
So, Grant, for example, with the gear steward doesn't do anything because let me rephrase that. Grant guards all of our gear, but the spreadsheet that he provides me at the end of every month simply has what stock did we start the year with, what have I ordered in, what has Grant given away, and what have we got left. And then at the end of the year he does a stock take, and he's KPI'd to make sure that his stock take marries up with what the spreadsheet says he's got in the boxes. And he's pretty bloody good at making sure that he's not giving away stuff willy-nilly. The reality is he can give stuff away, he just has to tick it off that it's gone.
And then we've got good data for actually putting the order in for next year. Because we know what sizes are going out, we know what we're short on. It's honestly, guys, it's just simple stuff, just doing it well, doing it efficiently.
But it just means that I'm not doing all the work.
Yep.
I've got 15 other people helping.
Just with the gear and tracksuit with the legacy on, what are we doing about that?
Yeah.
I'll explain what's happening. Legacy and
So Legacy are gone.
You need probably tell everybody. Legacy's gone. Coast Homes has come on board. They're our backup jumper. And another thing we're having put on all of the jumpers and the jumpers that are already out there, they will be called back in very shortly. And what we're having on the back is, remember, I'm a volunteer on the back of your jumper.
So we need you coaches to hammer home all lineouts to be refereed from the front. So the back's a point.
as it should.
As it should.
Bum to sideline.
Bump to sideline.
We just thought that was a good message just to remind people, hey, we're volunteers out there, leave us alone, stop abusing the hell out of us.
And all the different, so we've got a whole different number of types of referee jerseys. We've got our white one, which is our on-field referee. We've got a yellow one for sevens. We've got a white one for associate refs. We've also got a green one now for all first year referees. So they're highly visible as first years. We'll have first year written on it, so everybody knows they're a first year. Don't pick on them. Pick on them next year when they're a second year. So, and they've all been standardised, so they all look. They've got the sponsorship on all sponsors. JMC on the front, Coast Homes on the back, no more Legacy on the side, unfortunately. So they look all the same, except for our white jersey is the big thick one, and everything else is a t-shirt.
Is JMC still in? Or?
Yep.
So when are you going to start getting those jumpers? When does the season start?
18th of March, the season kicks off. That's Premier Rugby. I can't get those jerseys in until our funding's been approved for the screen printing. So I'm just waiting, that funding application went in probably the first week I come back from our holidays. So we're just waiting on that.
So a big focus for 2017 is going to be trying to address the abuse, the sideline abuse. That's going to be a big focus. I've put a paper to the union and to the board. I'm due to follow that up because I haven't had a particularly good response. I've been fobbed off by a certain member of the union, but we'll take it further because I think it needs to be addressed. If we're going to get the club and we're going to get people wanting to be referees, we've got to address the sideline abuse.
And we can only do so much. We're a very small stakeholder in the big global picture. Unfortunately, it's coaches, players, managers and supporters are the big stakeholders that have an impact on our attention.
One way of proving it is to record it on your mobile phone. It's pretty effective.
Anyway, there's a lot of things that we'll cover off on that at the season launch.
No, on the touch.
Oh, don't you? I'd like you to look up the rules.
Alright, if there's no other questions,
The newsletter, is there a deadline, like, when you're going to publish it?
Well, one of the things I was going to mention to Pat afterwards is for me to come and see Amanda, set the scene, because I've suddenly got a 20th of March deadline. So my goal was to get on with it and get started and get the thing out. So the thing is, I will make my self-imposed deadline so that will happen in a regular thing.
So it's coming out on a certain
Yeah,
month.
yeah.
And that way we know.
That will be set very clearly very soon.
Okay.
Yeah, that's key for me too.
Yep. It'd be good maybe the last week of the month, which then covers off the month forward. Looking at appointments and where Nick might be or Jacko or Gappy.
So I'll come across.
Nick rang me today.
Did he?
Yeah, so he's obviously back in the country.
And maybe that referee calendar can say all stuff into by such and such on a such and such date.
Yeah.
And that calendar can
Yeah.
be used. Because you can sync it to your Google.
Yep.
Yeah.
If we all do our bit, it's not a big job. If we just all contribute, and then we take the load off Pat doing those day-to-day mundane stuff that he can then look at the bigger picture.
Evan. Load off Evan.
What about new portfolio holders like myself?
Yep.
Training of some sort?
Yep. So inside all of those envelopes was a sort of a position description, which sort of gives you you'll need some computer skills training. So yeah, I'm happy to sit with you and do that. But for most of you, hopefully, and I'm happy for you to come back with some feedback. If you think your job description is too restrictive, or there's more things you want to put in it, happy to make them broader. I've tried to give everybody as much assistance on what I perceive your role to be, so that A, you can make a decision with some good information as to whether or not you want to do the job. It's a big ask to impose on people's valuable time. So if I can say to you, your job is this, these are the things we would like you to do, and hopefully it will only take you X amount of hours per week, you're more likely to say yes than rather than what's happened to my wife, who's just been seconded onto a club's junior committee. She has no idea what her role is. She doesn't know how long the meetings were. Went to the very first one the other day and she didn't get home until about 11:15. So,
She had a meeting, I watched it.
Children are sitting in the room. Anyway, I'm going to close the meeting so we can carry on with our drinkies.
Thank you
Thank
once
you very
again.
much for coming.
Yep.